Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're opening up something a bit different. Not a government report, not company earnings, but a really personal look at self-measurement.
Yeah, this is fascinating stuff.
It's called the Week in Review, or TWIR, for week 42 of 2025, published October 19th. And it's less like a report card and more like a detective story, really.
How so?
Well, it seems like the numbers, the quantitative success, might be trying pretty hard to, hide some deeper issues. Systemic ones, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. And the document itself lays out these two main areas, right? Health and wellness.
Yeah, that's one. Aiming for, energy, clarity, resilience, all the good stuff.
And the other side is projects and hobbies. So
Yeah.
skill building, getting that sense of accomplishment.
Exactly. So our mission today is to kind of peel back the layers on this report, find those fault lines, because this person is clearly, putting in the effort. They're hitting a lot of the basic metrics.
But the data might be telling a different story underneath. That hitting the target number doesn't always mean you're actually achieving the goal behind the number.
That's it precisely. We're looking at the integrity of the process. If you aim for, say, 7 hours of sleep and you hit it.
Does that actually give you the resilience you wanted? Or is there something flawed structurally hidden just below that check mark?
Right. That's the tension. That's what we're going to dig into.
Okay, let's do it. Health and wellness first.
Yep. Let's start with sleep. Now, the raw numbers, they look pretty decent, actually.
Yeah. What are we seeing?
Average daily sleep, 7.0 hours a night. Stable, bang on their target. And consistency over 6 hours was, 6 out of 7 nights.
Okay, so quantitatively speaking, check, box ticked, looks like a win.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
But, and this is a big but, the challenge is the quality, the integrity of that sleep.
Oh, okay, here we go.
The analysis showed that 2 of those 7 nights were significantly fragmented, lots of wake-ups. Or they had to rely on daytime naps, essentially, to kind of prop up that 7-hour average.
Right, so it's not 7 hours of solid restorative sleep. It's 7 hours cobbled together.
Exactly. It's like that leaky bucket analogy, isn't it? You pour in the 7 hours, but the actual benefit, that restorative quality, it's just leaking out.
And fragmented sleep is, well, it's terrible for clarity and resilience, which are the stated goals here.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? For someone aiming for clarity, is 7 fragmented hours actually better than, say, 6 hours of really solid, unbroken rest?
That's a great question. For building resilience, you'd think the integrity of the sleep cycle would matter way more than just hitting that specific number.
Although maybe just hitting the number itself, even if it's messy sleep, maybe that helps build the habit, psychologically.
That's fair. Getting the number can create momentum, absolutely. But if the fragmentation keeps happening week after week...
then the goal itself is kind of undermined, right? You hit the metric, but you still feel tired.
Exactly. And that leads to burnout, which maybe brings us to exercise.
Let's move there. Exercise. They just about hit their goal here. Walking steps average 6,190 steps a day.
Okay, so just over the 6,000 step target.
Yeah, barely. Consistency was static.
Yeah.
4 out of 7 days hitting the goal. But what's interesting
Go on.
is the insight they got from the 2 days they actually hit a much higher goal, 8,000 steps.
Oh, what drove that? Dedicated walks.
Nope, that's the thing. It was small lifestyle changes. Things like doing some gardening or a bigger grocery run than usual, not scheduled exercise blocks.
Huh. That's actually really insightful. It shows they can adapt, weave activity into life without forcing a rigid routine.
Yeah, and the adaptive approach shows up elsewhere, too. Like they're exploring easier ways to do things, simpler versions of a 6-minute HIAT workout because the main one was too tough.
And starting with kneeling push-ups, smart, tailoring the effort to their current capacity. That's good self-management.
It really is.
Yeah.
Adaptability is crucial for sticking with things long-term. But
What's the uh-oh?
The weight fluctuation paradox. Because this is where all that smart adaptation seems to just fall apart because of one specific habit.
Okay, lay it on me. The numbers look contradictory, you said.
Totally. On paper, small net weight loss, minus 0.20 kilograms for the week, starting at 69.00, ending at 68.80 kilograms.
Yeah.
Progress, right?
Sounds like it, a slight downward tick.
The trend, the average daily weight. That's not their friend here. It was 68.78 kilograms.
And how does that compare?
Noticeably higher than the week before. Week 41's average was 68.21 kilograms. So the week-to-week snapshot at the end, kind of misleading, gives a false sense of security.
Okay, so even though it ended lower, the average during the week crept up quite a bit. What caused that?
Well, the report is pretty blunt about it. They were doing well with their baseline meals, miso soup, eggs, oatmeal sometimes, discipline stuff.
Okay, sounds healthy.
But that discipline got completely wiped out by eating more of a, how do they put it, popular savory, crunchy snack, deep fried, high in refined carbs and sodium.
Oof. The kryptonite snack. We all have one.
Right. And it's a perfect example of that psychological trap. They're tracking all this effort on cooking healthy meals, feeling in control.
But this one habitual indulgence, the deep fried snack, it just blows up all the good work, like a landmine.
Totally. So the insight isn't really eat healthier food. They're doing that for meals. It's about facing that one specific, probably emotional hurdle of moderating that one thing.
Yeah, that's the real takeaway there. Low-quality, high-impact indulgences can absolutely sabotage a high-quality routine. It's not about volume, it's about impact.
Okay, finishing up on health. Quick mention of meditation. Short sessions were typical. Walking and meditation got cut back because of heavy rain.
But they did some mindfulness while raking leaves. I like that.
Yeah, turning a chore into focus. That's resilience right there. And the overall mood for the week, rather stoic, apparently, due to a long weekend.
That stoicism,
Yeah.
it feels like a good bridge, actually, because when your sleep is fragmented and your diet is spiking like that.
It's hard to feel anything but stoic, maybe.
Yeah.
Clarity gets fuzzy.
Exactly. And that fragmentation, that lack of deep restoration, it seems like it ripples straight into the next section, projects and hobbies.
Okay, let's pivot there. This part shows a lot of activity, definitely breadth, but maybe a scattered focus, reflecting that fragmented energy.
I think that's spot on. Look at writing. They kept up their usual routine. 2 posts a day, just reflections on life, baseline maintenance, right?
Yeah, ticking along.
But when it comes to bigger stuff, like a new writing project, they're just contemplating it, thinking about maybe waiting till next year. That hesitation
Just guess maybe a reluctance to commit to something complex, something requiring sustained focus.
could be. And the reading habits, same pattern. Read some chapters on gardening, gain new knowledge, that's good input. Admitted they didn't take any notes, skimmed some fiction, and made zero, absolutely zero progress on their current health book.
Ooh, the health book. What's the title again? Something about...
It's a
Yeah.
roughly translates to Guide to Controlling the Three Highs.
3 highs, like
Yep.
blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol.
Exactly. Now, given what we just talked about with the popular savory crunchy snack,
The fact that this specific book is stalled seems significant, almost like an act of avoidance.
it really does feel that way, doesn't it? Avoiding the very thing that addresses the structural health challenge they're facing with those diet spikes.
So they're taking in information, like the gardening chapters, but not doing the deep work. No synthesizing, no annotating, no applying, it seems. All input, no real processing.
And we see this in coding too, right?
Yeah. High activity, but kind of low stakes work. Submitting PRs, pull requests, mostly for small things. Typos, CI housekeeping.
Can you explain PRs and CI quickly for anyone listening who might not know?
Sure. So PRs, pull requests in software development, are basically suggested changes to code. Fixing a typo is a really simple one. CI housekeeping is like tidying up the automated testing tools. Necessary stuff, but usually quick fixes.
Right. Low stakes compared to building a big new feature or doing a major refactor, changing the structure of the code. They're getting quick wins, easy completions.
But then there's a constraint that pops up. While refactoring their own personal Python projects, they hit a wall.
What kind of wall?
A resource limit wall. They found out they were exhausting the free usage tier on some service almost every day.
So time spent on personal growth is now literally capped by cost or resources. That needs a structural fix, doesn't it? Not just another quick typo fix.
Exactly. Which brings us neatly to gardening and home improvement. This really highlights that struggle daily maintenance versus structural change.
What do you mean?
Well, the daily stuff, it's happening. Regular watering, transplanting seedlings. They even bought new seeds for stuff they'd planned for ages. The daily activity is there.
Okay, keeping things going.
But the pending list, it just jumps out at you. Big structural things, setting up a plant rack, decluttering the gardening areas, home improvement tasks, hanging curtains, fixing a drawer, doing grout work on tiles on the balcony.
These aren't 5-minute jobs.
No way. These are things that would make life easier long-term, free up energy down the line, and they just sit there, undone.
Perpetually pending. I know that feeling.
Don't we all? And quickly on fish keeping, we see that adaptive thing again. Bought some gourami fish on sale for the outdoor ponds, looking for guppies too.
Practical steps.
And here's a key insight. They're thinking about repurposing a rack, the yellow-blue one, turning it into a seedling tray based on the microclimate of that specific spot.
Okay, that's smart. Using observation, environmental facts to make a strategic, low-effort change.
Yes, they can do informed adaptation when it's straightforward. But when the challenge is messier, more complex, like physical work like the grout, or cognitive work like the health book, or tackling that deep-fried snack habit.
They default back to the easier stuff, the maintenance, the quick fixes.
Seems like it. So, okay, let's try and pull these threads together now. We've got fragmented sleep, diet spikes, these resource limits popping up, scattered project focus. What's the underlying story here about motivation? How's it being channeled?
Well, the TWIR, this whole report, it really shows a high capacity for starting things. New push-up styles, buying new seeds, submitting those quick PRs, and hitting those baseline numbers, like the sleep duration or the step count mostly.
Right, lots of initiation energy.
But those qualitative barriers, the sleep fragmentation, the snack consumption, the pending structural tasks, they act like this constant undertow, pulling things back down. Psychologically, maybe there's a completion bias.
Completion bias, you mean getting that little dopamine hit from finishing small, easy tasks.
Exactly. Right? Finishing the typo fix, doing the daily watering, it feels good. You get a sense of accomplishment. It's much easier than facing, say, the multi-day mess of regrouting tile or the mental effort of decluttering or really digging into that health book.
So it's a battle. The immediate gratification of checking small things off the list versus the hard slog of tackling things that need deep, sustained focus. The health book, the guide to controlling the 3 highs, needs attention.
But it keeps getting pushed aside because it's a heavy lift. It doesn't offer that quick win.
And that structural integrity piece is just so crucial, isn't it? That pending list of home stuff isn't just chores. They're actual roadblocks to a smoother, more resilient life.
Precisely. They hit the 6,000 steps, great. But that effort gets fundamentally undercut by the deep-fried snack. The metrics capture the effort, maybe, but it's the qualitative details that really capture the resilience, or lack thereof.
Okay, so here's where I think it gets really interesting, maybe for everyone listening too. It throws up this big question. When you look at your own goals, your own tracking, are you just measuring the metrics you hit, ticking the boxes?
Or are you prioritizing the integrity of that time and energy? Is the sleep actually restorative? Is the project work moving you towards the big goal or just keeping you busy?
Yeah, we see this conflict so clearly here. The need for deep restorative rest and focus versus this constant hopping between easy wins and quick fixes.
The data really is a mirror, isn't it? It reflects the difference between just complying with a target, hitting 7 hours, and making a real structural change that leads to restorative sleep.
So thinking about that ultimate goal, this person has resilience, clarity. We want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought. Look at that pending list metaphorically, or maybe even literally in your own life. What specific item on your list, maybe it eyes the curtains or the grout, or finally tackling that dense book you've been avoiding, what one thing would deliver the biggest structural improvement to your week?
It's something that moves you beyond just the endless loop of daily maintenance.
Exactly. Think structure, not just steps.